Hello, I'm Amelia Fruby and welcome to my tiny tarot practice. Today's card is the Page of Wands. In the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck, the Page of Wands features a person decked in bright colored clothing and a hat with a red feather in the front. And they're holding a wand in front of them and looking up at the top of the wand that's taller than them. And even it looks like perhaps the sky beyond. And they stand in this desert landscape, or it's brown. And there are either mountains in the distance or small hills right near them. And they just look ready for an adventure. Feels like the spirit of the card to me. In many popular interpretations of tarot, the pages are cards associated with either literally with childhood or with a childlike optimism and wonder. And so I think they often represent beginnings. When I think of the minor arcana suits, I like to think of them as running ace through 10, or if we've talked about, the ace is a card that may be perhaps stand on its own. So the ace, and then 2 through 10. And then with the court cards, with the page, the knight, the queen, and the king, we begin a different cycle of the minor arcana suits. And some people see them as another cycle. I like to think of them that way, as kind of a smaller circle of evolution within the larger cycle of the suit. And some people don't see them that way. They see them as distinct archetypes within each suit of the minor arcana. So there's a lot of openness here in how to think about court cards at all. Some people think of them, as I do, as the minor arcana going from ace to king and like running directly through. And other people don't. They read ace to 10 and they read the court cards separately. So I love this nuance. When I started this podcast, a friend asked me how I was going to handle the court cards, and I spent some time thinking about it. But I really like to see them as directly in the lineage of the numbered cards, ace through 10, that we've just explored. If you're tuning in, or if you're listening to this as a one-off, that's okay too. So if we think of the Page of Wands as following after the 10 of Wands, we see in the 10 of Wands, we saw this figure who is carrying 10 wands, head down, like into this burden, moving forward. And with the Page of Wands, we see that burden lifted. It has disappeared, and we have a sense of adventure and a new journey. I think the Page of Wands is, I really enjoy Jessica Doerr's reading of the Page of Wands in Tarot for Change as the figure or the archetype that holds that spark for us, the spark of our creativity that so often gets obscured as we move from childhood into adulthood. We perhaps lose some of our passion. It's kind of dampened out of us, or we're disconnected from it in many ways. But the Page of Wands is an archetype about reconnecting with that. It's finding that childhood dream, that wonderful journey, or journey full of wonder, or the spark of your imagination, and going there. As Jessa Crispin in the Creative Tarot reads it, the Page of Wands is a great card to channel for spontaneous creation, for doing passionate, wonderful, artistic, powerful things without a lot of planning, forethought, or even afterthought. You are creating in the moment for the sake of that moment. And plans and objectives and goals and futures can come later. That's not what's happening at the Page of Wands. So the other thing I think about when I think of court cards is, these cards I think really invite us into taking them up as archetypes that we can use in our day-to-day lives. I said just now, you can channel the Page of Wands. I often like to imagine becoming one of the court cards when I need a different energy or rhytm or flow when I need to access something maybe that I can't find in myself, where I just need the support of a shared archetype to get me through. So when I'm having trouble connecting with wonder, when I'm having trouble touching my inner artist, when I'm having trouble making, I find the Page of Wands is a beautiful archetype to channel in those moments. So I think that's the invocation we'll wrap up with today. The Page of Wands is an invitation to channel your inner child and let creativity flow through you. Thank you so much for tuning in to my tiny tarot practice. As always, you can find the resources, the books, and the writers that I mentioned in this episode in my specially curated bookshop page just for you. There's a link to that in the show notes, and if you make a purchase through that link, I'll receive a small affiliate payment that helps me make this podcast an ongoing project. Thank you again for tuning in, and we will see you next time.